Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Saturday night Facebook and our Anything Goes series. So I posted this card earlier in the week on my page, and I received a lot of questions about how the clouds in the sky were done. And so I put out there, if anybody wanted to see it demoed, that I'd be happy to do that. And overwhelmingly, everybody wanted to know how to make these clouds. It is so easy that I wanted to share it with you so that you'll be able to use it yourself anytime you need clouds. Here we've got a gray cloudy sky, but it just as easily can be done to be kind of a summer cloudy sky with blue instead of the gray. So there's versatility there as well. And you can even control how many clouds there are in the sky. For instance, this would look like a definite squall if you were at sea, bad weather coming. But for your summer sky, you might only want to have 4 or 5 of them. And the beauty is you can use the exact same template that I'm going to show you how to make for either one. Hello, Karen. Welcome. So we're going to use the same stamp set that I used here, which is the, where is it? The Sailing Home. And we'll also use a little bit of the Come Sail Away DSP. It'll come together very quickly because really the major purpose is just to show you how to do the clouds. So I'm going to take away our inks and card because the first thing I need to show you is how to make your own template. To do that, you'll want to start with, and that's not the right one, so let me bring this one in, a piece of cardstock that is thick. So I have the Very Vanilla here, but you could just as easily, if you don't have any thick cardstock, the backing or the sheet that comes in your DSP that tells you what colors, you could cut a piece off of that and it would work just as well. Let me bring in my template. And I made this template, oh gosh, well over a year ago. So I've got one side of my template is for creating clouds. The other side is for creating snowbanks. And the lovely thing about this is you don't always want the exact same pattern, whether you're doing a snowbank or clouds. So you can do your first set and then just flip it over. And then you can do your second set and keep doing that to have a different look. And how did I make this? Well, let me tell you, it was really hard. I sat here with a pencil and I just kind of drew an outline of what I wanted my fluffy clouds to look like. And if you wanted a lot of them, like I had here, you would make a lot of up and downs. Or if you wanted more of a summery one where it's got big fluffy clouds, you could do that as well. So you simply draw on there what it is you want. And then you take your shears, your snips, and you just kind of cut it out. And you can squiggle around to have uneven clouds or just go to town on it. It won't look like much from here, but you're going to see once we start using it how you can get some great clouds out of it. So that quick, we've done our template. The next thing I want to do is I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. We are going to make a card, but I want to show you the easy way to do this. Let me get out my sponge daubers here, and we will do the gray cloudy sky on the card, but I'll just show you, for instance, how you would do the blue sky. So let me get one of my blues here. I think this is my balmy blue, so we'll use. And let's see, stamp pad is, do I already have it out? Nope, don't have it out. I used it earlier today, but I cleaned up my craft room, so yep, it's back where it should be. All right. So what you're going to do is this. You'll position your clouds, and this is going to be my first layer for my summer sky. ink up your dauber. And I always start off of the page so that the color is not too intense, because we can always go back and add more color. When I pull this away, there you can see we're starting to have our clouds take shape. Now I'm going to rotate it, oops, the other way. I did almost two the same. And you don't have to go straight across. You can angle them if you want to. You can just do part of it and then come back and do another part. Really, your imagination is the only thing that limits you. So I want some big fluffy clouds. So here, I'm just going to come in. And for the fluffiness, what I'm doing is I am spacing these further apart. All right, so for my stormy sky, they were very close together. But for my summer sky, I am just letting them kind of have their own space. And so you would just follow this along and put in however many clouds you need. So simple, simple, simple. Oh, Karen, you know what? Something like this, I would never think of selling. This should be, everybody should be able to make their own. We pay enough money for everything else, right? So it's nice to have a little freebie. All right, so that's basically how you do it. And I'll just quickly show you how I did snowbanks, because, you know, Christmas cards are going to be coming up here sometime in the not too distant future. Again, what I did was I just cut a gradually sloping, or sloping, God, I'm just can't talk today. A gradual slope, that's what I wanted to say. And the process is exactly the same. Now, obviously, for our snowbanks, you're probably only going to have one or two of them. Let's see if I can find the right. There it is, my smoky slate. I like to work in gray. You certainly could pick an icy blue as well. But what you'll do, same process, you just ink it up, start off of the page just to kind of get rid of that first bit of excess ink, and slide it down. And as you can see, it is very light because I'm not using a whole lot of ink on it. And then again, I can turn it over, and now maybe I want this little snowbank to live over here. So I don't even have to take it all the way to the edge. I can just do that. And you can see I start getting those little snowbanks laid in. And because I kind of like to work in straight lines sometimes, and to make it look more natural, I will come back in here and just add one more that follows the lay of the land. So that is really all there is to creating clouds or snowbanks. All right, well, let's go ahead and apply this by making a card. So I'll get rid of that. I'll keep my template out here. And we're going to be using, as I mentioned, the Sailing Home stamp set. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. I just got the dies and the stamp set for Free as a Bird. So we're going to be using this bad boy. And I'll show you how we'll do that in a bit. Get all my goodies out here. We'll be die cutting the lighthouse and the small boat. And I'm working on Whisper White. I really love the softness you get with the Whisper White. And since we're doing kind of a gray day, it seemed like that would be a good thing to do. So this is going to be our design panel. And this will be what we do our clouds on. Now, you'll notice I have a pencil line. And that is because there is always at least some separation between your water and your sky. So my pencil line is just so that I know not to go below that when I'm doing my sky. And let's go ahead and do that. So you can either start at the top, which is what I normally do, or you can start at the bottom if you like, but I'm going to start at the top. And my piece of paper here is 3 inches by just a little, 5 1/8. So that way I have plenty of room to do my design panel and still be able to cut it out. So my template is bigger than my design panel, and that works just great because all I have to do is position the clouds on my template wherever I want to start. So again, I'm using the smoky slate. We'll just ink that up. You'll always want to have a piece of scrap paper or grid paper down to protect your surface. And with your shimmer paper, ink tends to stay wet a little bit longer, so be aware of that and don't go putting your fingers in there right away. And also, I find that I have to give a little more pressure so that I get a nice sky, and you can see it there. Hello, Karen K. No worries being late. If you didn't catch how we make the template, you'll be able to rewind to the beginning and see it from there. And I'm glad you could join us. All right, so I'm going to flip. And again, if this is a stormy sky, I may keep my clouds very close together. If it's just, well, you know, it's kind of starting to storm, but the clouds are just gathering, I may want to spread my clouds apart. And that's what I'm going to do for this one. So that's another way you get a lot of use out of the template, is that you can decide how close you want to put your clouds. So I'm really digging that. And I can still do one more. And I think I'm going to flip it one more time. And this time I'm going to stick with the very right edge. So let me make sure that I'm above there. Start off the page. And there we go. So that's good, I think, for our cloudy sky. We can put our smoky slate away. All right. As you saw, that didn't take any time at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase my pencil mark because we need to do the water now. And to do the water, I'm going to bring in my high tide, which carried over from last year. So where's my high tide? I just had it. Oh, I probably put it back in the wrong order. Oh, there it is. Duh. Okay, as you can see, we've got the water image here, and that is exactly what I used for the original card. But Linda, you say, it only gives you a little bit of water. Well, that's true, but I'll show you how to use it so that you can fill this up with the water. So let me get a block here, just like that. And for our water, we're going to use Seaside Spray. Running out of room here. All right, so there's our Seaside Spray. Put our template away for right now. So you'll ink it up and decide where you want to start your water. Try to get this straight. You certainly could use your Stamparatus for this as well, but I think we'll start our water right about there. Okay, so there we've got it, but it doesn't go all the way to the edge. No worries. They designed this stamp so that this leading edge will fit very nicely right into the rest of it. So that's all you have to do. And then we'll jump down and we'll do it again right there. And this stamp is very forgiving because, you know, water has little eddies and swirls in it. So as long as you're not leaving a gap between where you're stamping each time you move it down, you'll be fine. And just like that, we have our C. Goody, goody. All right. Now that's all we're going to do to this design panel right now, because I want to pop up the elements that are going to complete it. So I've got another piece of the glimmer paper here. And let me put that where I won't lose it. And we will stamp the lighthouse and the small boat. Oh, and the seagulls. Why not? Now these we're going to do in Night of Navy, because obviously we want the color to stand out against our Seaside Spray water. All right, so let me just open this up. Hi, Lee. Okay, blocks. We need some blocks. I think I can get away with doing my lighthouse this way. And we don't have to worry about lining these up because we're going to die cut them. So just need to make sure they're inked up well. Leave yourself enough room around the outside for the die. So there is, I really love the way this Night of Navy looks on the shimmer white paper. So there's that. And then I'll bring in another block for our sailboat. And again, we just want to leave room so that we can easily die cut it. And we will use the seagulls, but we're going to put that directly on our design panel once we get our layout done. Okay, so I'll close up my Night of Navy now. And I've got my big shot right over here. So we will cut these out. I hope everybody's having a good day. We have had really bad thunderstorms with we've been under flood warnings all afternoon. It finally stopped, so I am hoping that that was the worst of it, but you can't tell where our backyard ends and the pond begins. Okay, and I'm going to use a little washi tape here to hold this down. And like I said, it takes a little bit for the ink to dry, so you do want to give it a few seconds before you start dinking around with it. But while I was setting everything up, I think it had time to dry. Just want to make sure my die doesn't move. So we'll do it just like this. Come on. All right. I think that's stable enough. Yeah. So I'll put that on the big shot. And we'll roll it through. Snap, crackle, and pop. Sorry if that shook the camera. All right, so there's our lighthouse. And there is our sailboat. Okay. Now let's talk about how we're going to be putting this together. The other thing I need to do, like I mentioned, is we're going to be using this die from the Free as a Bird collection to cut this out. So I guess I should probably go ahead and do that. Make sure I get it on there straight. Because you know me, I'm not good with straight lines most of the time. All right. I'd make a great abstract artist, but definitely not a modern artist. All right, here we go. Oh, I really like how that turned out. I do. What we're going to be doing is we will have our lighthouse actually popped up half on and half off this. And then we will also pop up our sailboat, and then we'll put our birds right about there. All right, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I have another tip for you. Hi, Roz. Okay. I have been using the DSP for this suite a lot. And so I'm starting to kind of run out of stuff. I'm gonna have to order some more. And I really wanted to use the Lighthouse paper for this, but I only had 2 shorter pieces, and obviously it wasn't long enough. So let me tell you what to do when that happens, all right? I cut a piece of paper that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do very simply is I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to glue this down. And where we have our gap, I'm going to fill it in with this piece of paper. So you can always, if your DSP isn't quite long enough, use it anyway and disguise where it's empty or where it's spread apart with ribbon or with a pretty border die cut, or as in my case, just another piece of the DSP. So let's get to that because we are really almost done with this card. I can get my glue to cooperate. I was down to my last bottle of multi-purpose liquid glue and was just praying that it would hold out for last week's live. But thankfully, I remembered to order more with the order that came in this week, so I didn't run out. Okay, I have to pay attention because otherwise I will glue this set on upside down and that wouldn't look very good. All right, so just matching it up. And that's the only reason that I'm using this piece of paper, is just to give it something to sit on. And lastly, we'll put our striped strip. And I think I cut it straight, so hopefully, yep, that looks good. All right, now, just by itself, I would not be pleased with that, right? But I knew we're going to be covering most of it up with that. Before we do that, though, I made a card base of Balmy Blue because I'm out of Seaside Spray. I just got the sampler pack to see how I liked it, and that will be on my next order. But you know, Balmy Blue works beautifully with the colors in this suite. All right, so we've got that. Now we said we're going to pop up our lighthouse and pop up our sailboat. So I want to just go ahead and glue the design panel straight down. I thought about popping it up, but then I would have had to do double dimensionals for the lighthouse because it is going to hang off a little bit. All right, let me see if I get that straight. You can still see my pencil line, so let me take care of that right now. Okay, that's better. All right. So our lighthouse is going to go right there, and the sailboat should go about there. So let me bring in my Memento black to do the seagulls, because I want to do that before I start propping everything up. But I needed this part done so I would know about where I'm putting my seagulls, and I'm thinking right about there will work. I like that. And I'm not putting a sentiment on the front of this one because it's just very, very busy as it is. So I will save the sentiment for the inside, and I'm going to use Let Hope Be Your Anchor Through the Storms of Life. Goes along with our stormy sky. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this up. Get my dimensionals out here. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to use that because we have long lines in our lighthouse. I'm going to use our foam strips. And because I'm popping this up, I'm going to need, there's two ways I can do this. I can either just put dimensionals on the outside or my foam strip and not put any dimensionals on the inside, or I can do a double strip of the adhesive on the outside, and I think that is what I'm going to do, because I really want, the more you pop something up, the further it pushes the rest of the seam back. So make sure I get this on the right side, but I like this because you can mold it where you need it to go. There you go. Come on. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put it across here. It just fits so nicely, except I don't want it to show, so I have to be aware of that. And because I'm going to do double on this side, I am going to use some on just one strip on this side. Okay, so to double this up, all I have to do is lift that, there go my ego, grab another piece. I think I can just cut this by eye here. I don't need a whole piece for that. So make sure, yep, that's the side that's going to hang off. And I'm just putting another strip. And I've got this little bitty strip I can use in the middle to prop up the top. Okay, now I can peel all of the backings off. Oh, I might need to put an extra one down here as well at the base. So let's do that before I forget it. I think I'm only going to use a little bit though, because it doesn't hang on the inside that far. Okay, so we'll do that. Boy, these adhesive strips are strong. Pull my nail polish right off. Okay, let's get this one on there. Okay, I've got all that. Now I'll just line this up and decide where I want it to be. And I'm thinking right about there. Okay. So as you can see, I've got the double layer here, but only a single layer there. And that keeps it from buckling. And for this sailboat, that's pretty easy. We only need one layer. So I'll just cut some off here. Take it all the way up to the top, or as close as I can get it to the top. Come on. So we'll do it there, and we'll do it there. And I think we're good. All right. So let's have our sailboat be right about here, because that way it looks like it's off a bit in the distance from the lighthouse, which is what you want. Get it on there at least semi-straight, although, you know, sailboats, they do heel from time to time with the wind, but I like mine straight. And there we go. That is our card for tonight. So you saw just how easy it is to create your own cloud template. And the really nice thing is once you've created it, you just stick it in your drawer. And because you use that heavier cardstock, it's going to hold up. I have used the heck out of this. And as you can see, it's really not showing much wear and tear. So I encourage you all to go out there and to create your cloud templates and have some fun with them. They really add a lot of depth and interest to your cards. Any questions about how I did the template? Hi, Kathy. All right. Well, that is pretty much it for tonight. But before I let you go, I got to play with the Peacock Suite today. Ta-da! This one is so much fun. And I really enjoyed being able, this is just colored with our inks. I didn't use the blends at all. I just used a blender pen and inks. So maybe we'll try something like that next Saturday night. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend and an enjoyable week, and I will see you next Saturday night. Bye-bye now.